This podcast is proudly sponsored by Joro Protein, a Rhode Island plant-based protein supplement company designed for athletes and adventurers. They deliver 25 grams of protein, 5 grams of BCAAs, and 18 essential vitamins and minerals. It's non-GMO, it's gluten-free, it's allergen-free, no artificial flavors, no added sugar or stevia, and it has no additional gums, thickeners, or fillers. Right now, you can get 30% off on this podcast with the code Joro Rhody Strength 2022, and you can find them at joroprotein.com.
This podcast is brought to you by Phase CBD. That's P-H-A-Z-E. They are a local Rhode Island company who makes and manufactures a wide-ranging variety of CBD products that are formulated specifically for athletes. It doesn't matter if you're a CrossFitter, a strongman, bodybuilder, or powerlifter. These products are for you. These products range from tinctures to seltzers to even roll-on applicants. By supporting this business, you're supporting a local Rhode Island business and you're supporting this podcast directly. Please check them out at phasesports.com.
All right. What's up, guys? Dr. Matt here on the Rhody Strength podcast. We got another special guest on today, Clifford Ross. How's it going, man?
It's going well. I just want to say thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Of course. I know you're taking a trip pretty soon, so I'm like, hey, this is our opportunity to get together, chop up in the pod a little bit before you head out.
Yeah, I got to say goodbye to Providence. I got to say goodbye to some good people, some actually really good people. But I sent him a text saying I'm not gonna be able to make the engagement party. But what can I get you? And he's like, 2 things, wine or whiskey. And I said, all right, sounds good. And then
no, you said wine or whiskey. I said, bro, you don't have to do anything.
No. But a little nice bottle of wine, and here we are on the podcast. So I appreciate it. So thank you.
Yeah, it's we're recording out of CrossFit Providence. We get the video on for our video listeners on YouTube and Spotify. Which Spotify does the videos now. I know Joe Rogan started that, but any podcast can do video on Spotify now, which is pretty cool.
Dude, I would say I'm kind of an OG where I get off of the podcast app.
Podcast app? Apple?
Yeah, Apple Podcasts.
Apple, yeah. It's an even split. It's about 50% is Spotify, 50% is Apple.
Do you get demographic between like...
I do, yeah.
Men and women versus...
Men, women, transgender.
Really?
Yep, it splits it right up.
So now Apple, is it more men and women?
Apple, I don't get any.
You don't get any information.
No, you know what? I get it from Anchor, which is a Spotify company, which is what I release my podcast with. Shout out Anchor. I'll take any money you want to give me. But yeah, so they give me all the demographics, so I don't really get anything from the Apple side of it.
Steve Jobs protecting his data.
He is.
From the grave, he's protecting it.
He is.
So,
he's like, Spotify, stay out.
Right. Exactly.
I want to control the podcast game.
Yeah.
So, all right, so we'll get right into the podcast. So just a short bio I have for you, and I know you took some notes on the notepad, which I love it. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you got to come prepared. Yes,
you do your homework.
I owe you the respect to come prepared, so I'm just not going to sit here and say a bunch of times.
So, I mean, the history, your athletic history probably goes back a lot further than from what I've known you, because you've been in Rhode Island for about a year.
Yeah, I'll be a year in September, but I'm gone in August, so 11 months. Yeah,
11 months. Okay, wow, it's almost exactly a year.
Yeah, exactly.
So when I met you, you were a CrossFitter here at CrossFit Providence, and you had told me you've done a couple triathlons before.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of triathlons was it? Sprint?
So
Ironman?
I was like mostly sprint and Olympic.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't a downfall, but I was training for a half Ironman. Always have been. I had that goal of doing an Ironman. Figure I'd start with a half. Was down in Florida training. Not that I was in Florida to train. I was living in Florida training.
What part of Florida?
Naples.
Okay.
And then COVID hit. And Ironman, the incorporation was like, we're canceling everything. Took all the wind out of my sails and kind of put triathlons on the back burner until just recently. But yeah, I would say a triathlete.
Cool.
Definitely.
And you say until just recently, you have a race set?
Yeah, so I just completed the Patriot Half,
okay.
Which is, they can't say half Ironman because they didn't pay for the naming rights of an actual Ironman sponsored event, but it was still the same distances. No, it was a great event. I didn't really go into it that prepared. I was mentally the most prepared I've ever been for a race, but
nice.
Physically, in a triathlon standpoint, I probably wasn't super prepared. But
Sure.
it worked out well. I was happy with my finish. I was able to drive home. You know what I mean? Didn't get in a car accident on the way home. Legs worked.
Is that a concern?
Definitely. If you go to a triathlon, you get there the night before, and then you usually stay the night after. You know what I mean? You're not going to do a long drive. You're not going to go home and have to do the day-to-day tasks, which I did. I got home, and my dog looked at me and was like, I've been in the kennel for 7 hours.
Yeah.
Like, it's time to go for
Get
a
me
walk.
out.
And I'm like, I got like 80 miles under me right now. So
You taking for a walk?
yeah.
Nice.
I was like, we're going to the dog park. I'm going to sit on the bench, and I'm going to watch you play with other dogs.
What's your dog's name?
River.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
I knew that. What kind of dog is it again?
German Shorthair Pointer.
Nice. So
Yeah.
he needs to go.
Yeah.
He needs to run.
So we went there. It was good, but yeah, the unwritten rule is stay after, have
Chill.
somebody watch you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't know where your head's at, where your legs are at. Your blood sugar can drop in seconds. Right.
Faint.
Right.
Pass
Exactly.
out.
Faint. You flush your system of sodium. You know, the glucose is low. There's a million different things that can go wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, just because the body's not supposed to be doing that.
Yeah.
I mean, 6, 7, 8 hours, and that's just a half. I mean, a full, it can take anywhere from 12 to 18 hours.
Yeah.
So to think that the human body is designed to race to push itself to, you know what I mean? I'm not going to say death because that's a little morbid, but I mean, like there's people that have died on these courses.
Yeah.
And that's why they've designed it so swimming is up front. Because if you were to bike and run and then hop in the water, the chances of drowning go way up.
I've wondered that because specifically for like saltwater type triathlons, like I feel like your chafing just goes way up because you start with swimming.
Right, and then especially a lot of them. I mean, most of them, I would say 98% of them, you're in sand. You know what I mean? You're on a lake or you're on the ocean, and so that transition of hopping in clean water to rinse the salt off or get the sand off before you put your
Do they have clean water available for you to
cycle
rinse?
shoes. So there are clean water bins, but by the time if you don't get out of the water fast enough, or if you're not number one, then those bins are going to be mucked up.
Yeah.
For lack of a better term. So what I'll do at my transition station, and everybody has their own personal preference, I'll actually like bring a baking sheet, like a huge baking sheet, which people are like, that's kind of weird. But what I'll do is I'll go in there and just like quick dip my feet in there, you know what I mean, splash myself with some water. And that seems to work. Also, the technology advancing in the chafing balm.
Yeah. Like deodorant stick
Right,
style?
exactly.
Yeah.
It repels salt water
Really?
so well.
Really?
Yeah,
I'm
so-
going to have to look into that. Even
So-
for a day at the beach.
Yeah, 1,000%. Like, yeah. If you're there for 6 hours and you got that netting in your suit, you're like, ooh. You're looking at your buddy like, I might need to go put some clothes on. Like, this is
rough.
uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So, no, it was good. So I did it. I felt good. The bike felt good. And I actually ended up getting second.
That's awesome.
Right. So I got second in the Clydesdale category. Which
Now, what is that? Is it a weight class?
It's a weight class.
I didn't know triathlons had weight classes.
And so when you get to the Ironman, and that's where it's kind of neat, the naming, the branding, Ironman, goes by age groups.
Okay.
The individual ones, USA triathlons, they'll go by age groups, but then they'll also go by Athena and Clydesdale. Athena being 160 plus for women, Clydesdale being 220 plus for men.
Are you 220 plus?
And so that's where this gets a little interesting. I weigh myself. The race is Saturday. I weigh myself Thursday. I hopped off creatine for like 2 weeks out. I was like, I'm gonna drop some water weight.
Yep.
I'm gonna run super efficient. Well, obviously, like 2 + 2 = 4. You drop water weight, you drop weight.
Of course.
I was like 211, and I was like, all right, I gotta just fill up on water.
Oh, you wanted to be in 220?
Yeah, I wanted to be in I signed up at 220.
Oh. And if you're not under, you can't compete that way.
You can compete. You just go into age group.
Oh, okay.
And I'm not going to win anything in the age group.
Yeah.
I think in my age group I was 25th out of 43. So I was like mid of the pack of my age group for 26-year-olds. 26 to 31, I believe that's the age group. So I like came to the gym on Friday knowing that like I was like 5 pounds away. And Dave, one of the CrossFit coaches, looks at me and goes, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I just need to borrow a 5 and a 2.5 Pound plate.
Pound plate?
Pound
Okay.
plate. And he goes, what for? I was like, I don't think I'm going to make weight for my weigh-in tomorrow. And so I wake up Saturday morning. I put my steel toe boots on, which are like 2 pounds.
Sure.
I put a flannel on. I put a sweatshirt on. And then I take like my hunting belt, which is like a canvas belt.
Yeah.
And I kind of string like a weight belt, like almost like a diving weight belt.
Yeah.
And so I like do a quick. I get to the check-in area for racers, and I see a scale. So I go back to the truck. I'm like, all right, I got to put this weight belt on. This homemade weight belt. Put the homemade weight belt.
So they weigh you with clothes on?
They weigh and that's the thing. If you're really close, they'll make you drop your clothes.
Oh.
So I was like, I can't be within 3 or 4 pounds.
Yeah.
Because they're gonna make me drop my flannel, my sweatshirt,
your steel toe
and my steel toe boots. So I put the weight belt on. I go over 227.5, and the lady's like, "Just close enough. You don't have to take your clothes off." And I'm like, "Thank God." Like,
no way.
For sure, if she would have seen the weight belt, she would have been like, "Get the hell out of here!"
Like disqualified?
Yeah. Like, what are you trying to pull, kid? Like, what are you doing? So luckily, like, I got it. Everything's good.
So that's so interesting to me because like, so I just did a weightlifting meet last weekend, and you have to go no clothes. Like, there's no other way to do it. It's like that's how you do it
for weigh-in.
Yeah.
And I think, and nothing against the volunteers because they're volunteering.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think if you were to do it at like a really sanctioned event, like I think and also Clydesdale and Athena's and Clydesdale, if you go into that group, the prize money gets taken away.
Okay.
So if you race individually and you win your individuals, you can win prize money. And then if you're overall, you win prize money.
Right.
Athena and Clydesdale, you're saying, hey, I'm going to go race in a different group, but there's no prize money.
Okay, so it's just for like, yeah.
Right. So
not for fun, but it's just like you're forfeiting your ability to win any money.
Exactly.
By doing that, yeah.
Honestly, if there was money on the table, like my guilt would have been like, stop it. Like you're not going to take money away from like someone who's actually 220.
You're broaching into like Lance Armstrong territory there.
Like I'm not here to steal. You know what I mean?
I don't want to steal.
I'm not trying to steal anybody's money. And I think like even age group it was like $75. I was like, this isn't like $75. Don't get me wrong, that's a lot of money.
Yeah,
but it's not worth putting a homemade weight belt on for $75.
So your guilt was pretty low with that.
Oh, so low. So low.
I
felt good. I was proud of myself. I texted my mother and I was like, "Yo,
I beat
this
it.
worked."
Yeah, I beat the system.
Like I just put a homemade weight belt on in the porta-john, and it fell on the ground. Like it fell on the ground in the porta-john, and it was a huge, obviously 7 pounds hitting, plastic is gonna make some noise.
Oh yeah.
I could only imagine the people outside being like, "What is this guy doing in this porta-john right now?" Like. He is either going to, I can't go in that one. Like, I decommissioned that one for the rest of the day.
Do you think, along those same lines, do you think there's people that are doing, like, EPO and stuff like that for, like, those type of meets? Or is it too just, like small of a competition?
I think this one was relatively small. But, I mean, if there's sponsors on the line and there's money on the line, I think in any sport we see cheating.
Yeah, totally.
So,
totally.
And I feel like it would be even more beneficial in this sport.
Oh, 100%.
Just because the endurance is, you know what I mean, hours and hours and hours long. Mm-hmm. So yeah, 1,000%. I believe it.
Yeah.
I believe there's cheating in everything.
True.
So
yeah, 100%.
No, so it worked out well. I was excited with my results. I got second place. So.
That's solid.
Right. I couldn't throw up the full front double by. I just gave a one arm front double by, so it was good. It was good to get out there.
What was your training like for that meet?
It was I rode the bike Thursday, the day before.
Once.
I mean, mind you, I've been riding that bike.
Yeah.
For probably 3 years now.
That's your horse.
Yeah, and I probably have 5,000 miles on it.
Wow.
So, I mean, that bike and I have, I've sat on that seat for hours and hours and hours and hours. Mm-hmm. So the comfortability on the bike wasn't bad.
Just got to break the rust off and you're good to go.
Right. So I just had to do a shakeout. Did a shakeout Thursday. Did some sprints on Friday. Everything felt good. I knew I could swim with my history, and previously I did the Boston Frogman swim, which is that 3 mile open water in the Boston Harbor. So I was like, if I can do a 3 mile and feel great. Not
Yeah.
great, but like I can
Not
feel
bad.
confident.
Yeah.
I can do a mile and a half and not think twice about it.
Mm-hmm.
So the bike was good. The swim was good. And then I knew if I got to mile 6 on the run,
Mm-hmm.
I brought my phone with me. I could just put on some Zach Brown band and just
Is
cruise.
that your run music?
Oh, yeah, Zach Brown
Really?
band. Yeah, it's a little different.
It is. Yeah.
I was actually planning on doing some phone calls, like calling my cousin, calling my mom.
Really?
Yeah, because
But
I'm
is
running.
that a speaking pace for you?
Yeah, so like,
Yeah.
I mean, when you're running, obviously you don't have a lot in the tank, so you're running
Yeah.
at a conversational pace.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I remember it was in the middle of nowhere, Freeport, I believe, Freeport, Massachusetts.
Okay. I'm not exactly sure where that is.
And I was like, you know what, I'm gonna have some music.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call like people know I'm gonna call them. It's gonna
Yeah.
be good. Well, I didn't have any service in the back. So I like called my cousin. I'm like mile 10. I was like, yo, I got like 3 miles left. Like, can you hear me? He's like, dude, you do this hungover. He's like, if you can do it hungover, you can do it now. And I was like, that's all I needed to do.
Yeah.
This is good. So I finished. But the running training portion was pretty much primarily at CrossFit.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I kind of like looked at the totals we've been doing. It's probably anywhere from like 4 to 6 miles a week.
Mm-hmm.
If you show up to all the classes Monday through Saturday.
Especially in the spring and summertime, we do a
Right.
lot of running outside.
Right. So I felt confident, you know
Mhm.
what I mean, that I can get to mile 6 and feel good.
Mm-hmm.
And then once you're at mile 6, it's just put your head down and finish strong.
Yeah. Because you're 13?
Yeah, 13.
Yeah.
And then just another thing was just nutrition. I was like, as long as my body is got the glucose, got the caffeine, and it has the sodium, like I can handle it.
For a 13.1, are you taking taking glucose and stuff?
Yeah, so
during run?
every 30 minutes, I'm trying to consume right around 24 carbs.
Okay.
So whether it's in goo form, whether it's in block form, whether it's in like just as paste almost. I'm a big caffeine gum guy when I swim.
Okay.
So I'll get some caffeine from there. Yeah, and then just trying 50 to 75 milligrams of caffeine an hour. And then every 25 to 30 minutes, 24 grams of like quick digesting glucose.
And so when you're swimming, you're chewing gum.
Yeah, I'll chew gum. And that, I mean, that's,
Do you get water in your mouth?
I mean, I've been swimming since 4. Swam to the
I've
age
never
of
heard
8.
of anyone doing that.
Well, it's like you swim that your whole life, and like it's like you gotta,
Yeah.
like, as weird as it sounds, I used to do math equations when I swam. Like,
Yeah.
I would think of math equations and do 'em.
Really?
I mean, swimming is just such a,
Like multiplication tables?
like y equals like 36x, and like figure out what x equals.
No way.
Figure out what y equals. You know what I mean? Nothing like, I wasn't doing Calc 2. I wasn't doing derivatives. I was just doing like simple algebra. So I'm not like super smart, but I was just doing simple algebra. But I mean, you're just looking at the bottom of the pool for so long. It's like you can't talk to your friends.
Yeah.
You can't come up with a game. The only game plan is to swim fast.
Yeah.
It's not like,
So
hey,
you're just trying to keep your mind busy.
right. 'Cause
Interesting.
You'll lose yourself.
Yeah. So I haven't gotten, and I want to get more into swimming, but I haven't gotten enough to swimming to actually feel that. All I feel like when I swim is I'm suffocating. So I haven't got over that fact
Yeah,
yet.
the panic is real, and I think a lot of triathletes, even if you look at the start line, the panic of a race is amplified when you have to swim first. I mean, because swimming is, I mean, you think about it, humans aren't supposed to be doing that.
Sure, yeah.
You know what I mean?
We don't breathe in the water.
We're land animals. So, like, you put us out of our element, and then you say, hey, you can't touch the ground for, damn near an hour and a half.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't care who you are. So there's a little
tough.
panic.
That's
Michael Phelps would be like, you know what? I kind of want to touch the ground at like minute 50.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's different, and I also think like there's a big paywall to learn how to swim.
Oh, totally.
I mean, to have access to a pool, and even to, let's say you have access to a pool, then to afford someone to teach you how to swim.
Yeah.
There's definitely a big paywall, and even like for me to train at the YMCA, or at a pool around here, it's still $200 a month.
Yeah.
Which is a lot of money.
Totally. Especially when you compare it to like a Planet Fitness, like $10 a month, something like that. If someone just wants to get some exercise and they don't have a lot, they're probably going to go towards that.
Right. So I think.
What about people near the ocean though?
And that's what I took advantage of that in Florida.
Mm.
I mean, I would do open water swims every other morning. And it was really nice. You just kind of follow the tide chart. And I was on the Gulf side, so the waves weren't really that bad, and you never needed a wetsuit. The waters were always at like 70.
Oh, that's nice.
73, 74. And I think that's what also like taught me how to. You're gonna get water in your mouth, but you can't. I don't care how far you're going, you just can't swallow salt water because you make that transition from chlorine to salt. Yeah. And you don't want to swallow chlorine water, but it's not going to do the effects that salt water can do to your body.
What will salt water do? I mean, obviously, I know you can't drink it and get like hydrated, but like, what about just a little bit?
Yeah, you'll be fine. Yeah. I mean, but you just can't. You have to be super cognizant, especially going for those long hour-and-a-half swims, 2-hour swims, because if you just, there's no fresh water. Yeah. So the only thing you have is, if you're packing, you know what I mean, some. Like a gel in your suit. Sure. So,
you ever run into any weird sea creatures?
Yeah. So, in Florida, I mean, the snook, they're on
Snook?
the snook.
Never. Oh, is that a fish?
Yeah, it's a fish. And towards the summer months, they'll come to the shore, and you'll be able to fish off the beach for them. And they're big. They can get up to like 50 inches.
Oh my god.
I mean. Probably one in every like thousands of 50-inch, but I mean they're big, and there's lemon sharks all over the place, lemon sharks and nurse sharks. So, I mean,
a little spooky.
Yeah, it's definitely like I'm not watching a shark attack video and then going for a swim. Yeah, like I'm definitely not doing. I have done that before, and I like got out. I was like, you know what? I don't need to do this.
I'm good today.
Right. Like,
I'm gonna go for a run instead.
Well, it was funny because we went to Second Beach and I went for a swim. While everybody was on the beach, and I was telling my mom, I was like, hey, I'm just going for a swim real quick. Yeah. And she's like, oh my god, have you seen all the shark attacks like in New York, like around Long Beach, like within the last couple of weeks? I was like, Mom, like
I'm about to swim.
Like I know I'm in like a little sectioned off area, but like still not cool.
Yeah.
Like even that like and there's still like fish, so you're still seeing fish.
Yeah. Yeah.
And even with some fogged up goggles, like something swimming by you is never.
Oh yeah. Even maybe spooky, or you can't identify it.
It's never gonna make you feel great. But it's always like I'm in their home. Yeah. So if they're threatened by me and they want to take a bite, then.
Do you have like the preparedness to know what to do if like a great white swims up to you?
I'm gonna get to my phone, call an ex-girlfriend.
Well, your phone's in the water?
No, it's on the beach. Call an ex-girlfriend, tell her I love her, tell her I miss her, and hopefully I don't bleed out.
Solid.
I'm not gonna call mom and dad. I'm just gonna call this random ex-girlfriend.
You don't have any like special like shark like kung fu like punch to nose some away?
No, I'm not like. I mean, no.
No, just wondering. I mean, I don't either, but. So all right, so you didn't really train for this triathlon, it sounds like.
No, I mean, and that's why I said like physically I thought I was sound. Yeah. Mentally I thought I was prepared, if that makes sense. Physically I thought I could have been more prepared, but mentally I felt like I was the most prepared for Ironman, half Ironman that I could ever been. Yeah. Just what we were doing at the gym, just what like the running I was kind of doing here and there.
I mean, you were like cross training for it. Yeah, but you didn't really specifically run, swim, bike.
And so it was like, I mean, you look at what people are doing. They're running 50 miles a week. They're biking 300 and they're swimming 6. Yeah, and that's like your normal week of triathlon training. And I was nowhere close to those miles. Yeah.
But you crushed it.
Right. Felt good. Crushed it. Got second.
What's next?
So I'm not, like you said, the horse I'm riding right now, it's a great bike, but it's a like 2007 Cervelo, a little heavy. Okay. It was a road bike. Okay. That I converted into a triathlon bike.
Gotcha. I don't know the difference between
the two. Difference is like the road bikes, you sit there. I'm making hand gestures, which is great for people listening right now.
To our video listeners, they appreciate it.
Right. You're sitting right here. And it's more of a leg drive, because on a road bike you're not supposed to get off and run. Mm-hmm. Now, when on a triathlon bike, you're more of in a tuck position, so to speak.
Okay.
And you're resting on your exoskeleton. So your hands are up front. You're resting on your exoskeleton. So your whole body is not really.
It's relaxed.
Relaxed.
Mm-hmm.
Your legs are in a position where you take pressure off your hips. You take pressure off your knees, and it's more of a like pull up from the hamstring, a complete opposite movement from a run, so to speak.
Gotcha.
And so these tri bikes allow you to use different muscles than you were running, whereas a road bike and a run are pretty much the same muscles, same leg muscles.
Sure.
So using
That's cool.
Using that tri bike to take some pressure off, and then when you can get off, you're not cramping, you're not scared of that run, so to speak.
So you converted your bike to a tri bike by
Convert.
Adjusting the seat and the handlebars and everything?
I bought a new seat. I bought an ad lib part. It was a 3D part, 3D printed part. So like,
did you print it?
No, a guy at the bike shop printed it for me in Florida.
No way.
So he's like, "This is how you're gonna do it." And I've never made the full like monetary commitment to it. And a lot of these bike
triathlon,
right? A lot of these bike fittings are $400 to $600.
Yeah.
Granted, they take three hours to do.
Yeah.
I watched a YouTube video.
Yeah. Hey, that's a good way to do it.
Right, and I can tell you right now that bike does not fit me at all. But I did it. So the next thing, if I'm gonna do this Ironman, which I want to do, I need to do, it's just been weighing on my brain, is to make an investment into a real tri bike, which I used one 3,000 for my size, with some racing wheels and some good gear specs. Yeah, right around 3,000. So I just have to commit to that monetary investment, and then we'll go from there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And that's gonna be obviously the training for that. You're not gonna be able to just not train for that. You're gonna have to put a lot of hours into the week for training for a full Ironman. Yeah,
and this is where I believe anybody can do an Ironman. And like, if they're a good swimmer.
Okay. That's a limiting factor.
Right. Just from the panic aspect. But if I were to give you a bike and say you have to ride 114 miles and run 26 miles, I think you could do it consecutively. Now, are you going to be injured after it? 1,000%. Are you going to not like your life? Yeah, 1,000%.
Yeah.
So if I want to be injured and I want to like I want to like my life after it, I'll have to do like a 6-month program.
What percent of the people do you think that do an Ironman are able to run the full marathon without stopping? That's a tough question to ask, but because I feel like if you were to say you have to do this Ironman tomorrow, maybe I could struggle through it, but I don't think I could just run the entire time. Like I'd have to stop, rest, and go. You know.
What's your definition of stopping? Are we like, is it a 10-second at an aid station?
No. Like you walk like 10 minutes, maybe 5-10 minutes.
A fresh Ironman athlete, I would probably say all of them are going to do it.
Really?
Because that's what they're accustomed to.
Right.
They're accustomed to, like, for me, when I run an 8:10 pace, and that's my goal pace for any mileage I'm doing, regardless if it's an Olympic or a sprint. Or not sprint, I'll go faster. But Olympic half, I'll go 8:10, and then I will give myself. There's an aid station every 2.5 miles. On the run course, so that comes out to a minute. Yeah. So 20, and so it comes 50 seconds. And I'll take that 50 seconds
to rest.
You know what I mean? Recover, so to speak. When I say recover, is get that right aid. You know what I mean? Don't rush your water. Don't rush Gatorade. Because the last thing you want to do is rush an aid station, and that's just gonna, you know what I mean, snowball effect into the next 2.5, 5 miles. So I'll run an 8:30 pace on paper, but I'm running really an 8:10 pace on my watch.
Gotcha. Because if you didn't on your watch, you're not accounting for the breaks you're taking. That's your speed.
Right. My speed is 8:10. The miles,
which is fast.
The miles on my chip is 8:30.
Gotcha.
Because you have to. I feel like for you to be smart, and I think one of the hardest things for triathletes to do is to get nutrition down. Because there's no book on nutrition. Everybody's body's different. Everybody processes different. Everybody sweats a different amount of sodium. Everybody will burn. Everybody reacts to gels differently, or goos differently, or you know what I mean, gummies. Yeah. And the only way to get better at it is to trial and error.
Sure. Yeah.
So
Practice.
And I know my body needs that 20 seconds to, you know what I mean, drink for some reason I love Snickers on the run course.
Really?
Yeah. I love Snickers on the run course.
Is that just like subliminally the commercials have been like, hungry, grab a Snickers? You're like, I'm hungry, I got to grab a Snickers.
The thing is, I don't even like chocolate.
No way.
And then every time I'm running or I go for a long bike ride, I'm just craving a Snickers. I don't get it.
Interesting.
So I'll always carry a Snickers and I'll eat it on the first like 2 miles because if I wait till like mile 5, it melts. So maybe it's just like a.
So you want it when it melts or you don't want it when it melts?
Like right before it's like.
You want a little gooey.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's been sitting in the car for like 10 minutes.
Nice.
You know, it's a 70-degree day.
It's not like so messy
car.
you can't unwrap it,
Right.
but it's a little soft.
Right. I might have some chocolate on my fingers, but it's not like all
You lick
over
it
the
off?
place. Yes, I'll say it in the most appropriate way. Yes, I lick it off.
Do you if people see you running, you ever have a photographer take a picture and you just have chocolate all over your face?
No, I mean, I got called out from this. I'll give a shout out to Tanner. He goes, dude, you're always looking good for the camera. He's like, how do you do that? I'm like, dude, I always know where the camera is.
Oh.
I'll call myself out on it. I always know where the camera is.
You walk in and you assess like, all right, who's the photographer here?
I'm like, who is taking the Instagram story today?
Yeah.
And where can I be to look the best?
Right. What's the lighting? What's my angle?
Right. Like the lady, it was funny. The lady's like, camera guy right around the corner, so make sure you smile. I stopped, made sure my hair was perfect, made sure my sunglasses were on right.
You might have taken a minute off your time.
Yeah, it's like, hey, if I can get a good picture and post it on my Instagram, like I'm gonna do it. I'll fault myself for it, but like, I mean, if you're not doing it for the likes, then what are you really doing it for?
Exactly. It's all about the likes.
Yeah, I'll take my 103 likes and
Nice.
ship it in. Feels good.
All right, so let's. I want to transition to a different sport. If you have anything else on triathlons, obviously feel free to spit them out. We actually, you know what? I want to do the rapid fire questions because we completely missed those, and then we'll get into some other sports that you do because you're, as I put in your bio, you're an all-American guy. You do it all.
I like to say I try to do it all.
You try to do it all.
I end up doing most. Not well, but I end up doing most.
Actually, we're going to take a quick break just so I can fix my mic because I've been holding it for 20 minutes. So we're going to pause for just 1 second. Are you good on time, too?
Yeah, I'm really good on time. My new boss just texted me.
What do you say? If at any point you need to take a phone call, let me know. The proper height. That looks good. All right, we're back.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna get into the rapid fire questions next. So
okay. I should be pretty quick. I looked at the Google Doc, so I should be
nice.
able to.
You did your homework.
Oh,
you did your prep.
Yeah, I didn't. Yes.
All right, so first one we have, and this could be Rhode Island, this could be anywhere. We have a favorite coffee shop.
I'm a gas station guy through and through.
I love it.
I grew up. My father blue collar.
Sure.
So I mean, lunch was.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Birmingham, Michigan, which is not a blue collar area. But my father, owns his own construction business. So I grew up in the trades. I like to say.
Sure.
So it was stop at the gas station in the morning, stop at the gas station at lunch, grab a gas station hot dog, and then on the way home is some scratch offs to see if you don't have to go to work the next day.
Did you ever have to go to the work? Do you ever not have to go to the work the next day, or?
So the unwritten rule is if you hit like $500 or more, you had to bring in breakfast the next morning for the crew.
Wow.
And I think another rule, it was like $300, and you had to split the ticket with the person you went in with.
Okay.
But 300, that was the rule. 500, you brought in breakfast. Anything more than that, obviously you bring in breakfast, and then hopefully not. I mean, $500. You don't have to come to work for a week at that point.
For $500?
Right, for $500. I mean, it's the trades. They'll take you back in a second.
Nice.
A laborer who works $12 an hour,
like that's a week. That's a week's pay.
Right.
What? Any preferred gas station or?
I'm a 7-Eleven guy.
Ooh, so you got taquitos.
Oh my God, Buffalo Chicken Taquito, Monterey Jack.
And the 99-cent coffee, any size.
Right. I would do the French vanilla, and then I got tired of it. But so I'll go to 7-Eleven for Slurpees. That's my go-to.
Ooh.
But Cumberland Farms,
Yeah.
I don't know. They're running a deal. Dollar any size coffee
Always.
for the summer.
Wait, just for the summer?
Well, yeah, I think their marketing is large iced coffee. I don't know if it's always. But,
It's always that.
Well,
They got you.
They got me because I have been crushing the dollar iced coffees.
Yeah, it's always $1.
Well, they got me, and I'll go in tomorrow and tell this sweet Aline is her name. I get a plain bagel with cream cheese, a large iced coffee, and she always gives me the cream cheese for free. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, she's right across from work.
Can you identify her? What Cumberland Farms is it?
It's the one in Walpole, Massachusetts.
Oh, you're north.
Yeah, so I
Gotcha.
believe the crossroads are Norfolk and Main Road. No, she's
Shout out Eileen.
Yeah, she's a sweet old lady. And I haven't told her that I won't see her ever again on Friday.
You're gonna have to tell her.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I might just get her a $5 gift card to Cumberland Farms as like a gag gift, but you never know. She might have something coming for her. I don't know yet.
Nice. I look forward to hearing the end of that story. Next question, we'll go favorite go-to breakfast. This could be the same answer, which is totally fine.
And if I'm being healthy,
Okay.
it's my calorie shake.
Nice.
It's easy. It's I know the measurements, like I know my brother's birthday.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's your brother's birthday?
August 12th.
Oh, it's coming up.
Yeah. So I'll be home for his birthday. I haven't been home for his birthday in like probably 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
So I'll be home for his birthday. We'll celebrate accordingly. I'm actually not a big fan of gas station breakfasts.
Yeah, they're not good.
I think they overcharge. I like who's gonna charge $3 for a breakfast pizza? Like
Yeah.
it's grody. You know what I mean? Like like I know the cheese pizza's grody, but breakfast pizza, come on now.
Yeah.
$3.33 for a slice, like no
Pretty
way.
gross.
Right?
Pretty gross. And if you ever get one of those pre-made breakfast sandwiches, it's just completely drenched. It's soggy. Just so soggy.
Yeah, you know you're having a rough day when you sit there and be like, hey, when's your next batch coming out? And she's like 20 minutes, and you'll be like, okay, I'll wait around. Like some guy did that in front of me. I was like, I don't know what you have going for you
Yeah.
in your day. I feel bad.
Yeah.
And like, here's $3. Just go to McDonald's.
Yeah. It'll be better.
Right. That'll be better, and they have it ready.
Or Dunks.
Right.
It'll take you less than 20 minutes.
Yeah.
We can next or what kind of calorie shake you have? You said the.
So it's 170 grams of yogurt.
You make yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice.
40 grams of oats.
Oh.
Scoop of protein powder, whatever I have on hand. 2 tablespoons of peanut butter, 1 banana.
Ooh.
70 grams of a frozen berry mix.
Okay.
A little bit of salt and
Salt.
Yeah, I add salt to everything now.
Okay. For taste?
No, just to keep the electrolytes up.
Nice.
And then about 12 grams of creatine, which is 7 over the
5.
Right,
Yeah.
the 5. But I figure I'll just pass it.
Why not?
And so,
Awesome.
Yeah.
Is that your kind of like go-to? Like that's what you put in there?
Yeah, a good 1,200 calories to start the day.
Is that the Stiff Cliff shake?
I mean, I might never call it that, but if you drink enough of them, you'll definitely have enough energy to perform in the bedroom. So if that's what you're referring to, then
Gotcha.
yeah.
It just came to mind. I'm like, this sounds like you should name the shake.
You'll get some stamina. You'll be able to go.
Get your day started, what?
Right.
Good.
How about this? I would eat 5 hours after it. You're going to need some more food, but for the first 4 hours, go for it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Solid. I'm going to have to try that. I'm going to have to re-listen, write that down,
Yeah.
and then try that shake because that sounds good. Next question, we got favorite Instagram accounts. And then the way I describe this is something maybe that you find educational, something you find entertaining, or something that you just like when you see it pop in your feed and like, oh, that's a cool account.
I'm looking like I didn't write it down, but I did write it down. Elk Assassins. It's just a hunting page that's strictly for. It's not even like the harvesting of elk. It's just beautiful imagery of elk.
Cool.
Videos of them mating, of them bugling, of them just interacting on a day-to-day. So it's cool to see.
Nice. And you said harvesting of elk. Is that different than hunting, or is that just another term?
I think harvesting is, especially in today's age, that's what I like to call it. Because I would say I harvest an animal. I wouldn't say I'm hunting for game. Like, yeah, it's nice to shoot an animal with a nice rack. But at the end of the day, if you're not doing it for the meat, I feel like you're in it for the wrong reasons. Totally. For sport instead of for
getting fuel or
So I like to differentiate myself by saying I'm harvesting the animal. I feel like it gives the animal a little bit more respect.
I like that.
You're not taking the animal for what it has on the outside, not to get too philosophical, but what it has on the inside and what that can do for your body in the sense of organic meat that's super high in vitamins, and it's really good for your cholesterol.
Totally.
I mean, some of the best organs to eat are elk heart and elk liver. They're just nutrient dense, and they're hard to come by. So when you have that opportunity to harvest an animal, and I think for me it's sharing with others, just that high quality of meat that you're able to harvest.
So I guess we'll get into it in a second, but I'm guessing I'll ask you quickly. You've gone elk hunting.
Yes. Yeah. I've been to Colorado a couple times.
Cool.
Very fortunate. Very, very fortunate. There's a huge paywall on that as well. That not a lot of people get to experience. So I'm very grateful for the experiences I've had out there.
That's cool. I want to ask you all about that. Any other accounts you like, or we move on to the next question?
There's a fishing one, and then there's a bunch of fishing ones that I follow. Key West Official, and then GSP German Shorthair Pointers. They have one GSP of the day, and they just post
nice,
really cute. German
Has River ever been featured on there?
I've submitted like 4 of them.
Yeah,
and I'm taking it personally now because like 2 of them have been good.
Yeah,
and 2 of them like have been great. You know what I mean? Like, come on now.
You're not giving them bad content.
No, I'm giving them great content. Almost to the point where I'm like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Like, what's going on? Like, this is – because what you post – I was like, to me, it's like what you posted today is not – like, I'm not even trying to be biased. I'm trying to be unbiased.
Right.
But what you posted today, like, I just DM'd you something 10 times better. Like, your interactions
Who's running his account?
Right.
Yeah.
Like, how many friends you have with the GSP? You probably have a lot, but, like, let's put me on there one time.
Yeah. Come on, GSP Official. Favorite podcast is the next question.
Theo Vaughn, The Weeknd.
Theo Vaughn, The Weeknd.
Yeah. I think he's just hysterical. He's very organic.
Did I talk to you about Theo Vaughn today? Did you mention it today? Someone else mentioned that name to me today.
It could have been. I was talking about it with Tanner. I don't know if you talked with Tanner today.
Tanner. It was yesterday.
Yeah,
Tanner mentioned it.
I talked with Tanner.
That was the first time I heard about it.
Oh, the guy is so funny. He's so organic. Like, you want to be like, this guy is pulling the stuff up. He writes he doesn't even write his own material, but
really
he writes it. No, he does. You want to think that, but he writes it because it's not. It's just organic. It's just happened naturally. Like, his life is so chaotic that he's seen some stuff, and it's just his delivery, his inflection, the way he ties up a whole skit. It's really great, and it's kind of hard for comedians to make that transition to podcasting. But I think he does a great job. So right, that,
checking it out.
I got one more. Jared Freed, the J Train podcast, and he pretty much just takes listeners' emails that will like write in like breakup scenarios, like I'm in this dilemma, like I think my wife cheated on me, or like she wants to have a threesome, or like a million of these scenarios, and he brings in other comedians. He's a comedian himself in New York, and he brings in other comedians to break it down.
And they give relationship advice?
And they give relationship advice.
Oh, God. And I'm sure it's a train wreck.
One of my buddies, actually the guy who was the host or co-host of podcasts of my old one, Cellar Talk, he wrote in, and he got on, and they read his story, and they're like, dude, you're being a loser. They're like, whatever you're doing, you are being a loser. You're like, you need to back off. This girl thinks you're creepy, and you just like gotta hope for the best.
Yeah.
So they give real advice.
Okay. But they do it in a very blunt, like funny way.
Right. Gotcha. Yeah. They're gonna find the comedy out of it.
Yes.
I mean, as all comedians do.
Sure.
But it's funny. It is truly because it's so relatable.
Yeah.
Even if you've dated once or you've dated 1,000 times, a lot of these stories you can like kind of see yourself into.
Sure.
So
Cool.
it's good. It's good to relate to something.
We got 2 more rapid fire ones coming up. We got favorite books, and if you're not a book reader, maybe something on Audible, or if you're not an Audible guy, we'll go to the next question.
So I just read Becoming a Backpacker, like
Ooh.
hunting backpacker.
Cool.
So it just kind of prepares you for, a 6-day stint. And how
cool.
you get from a mindset of, I can go to the grocery store and eat any day, or I need to, today I have only 1,800 calories I can consume unless I find my own food.
Yeah.
So it teaches you how to be physically and mentally prepared. And then I actually just started. I'm a big Savers 4 for $5. They have a section where
the store.
So you can get 4 books for $5.
Really?
Yeah, and I found one called Bill Montana.
Okay.
And it's about this guy who becomes a sheriff, or Bull Montana, in
Montana. Okay.
in the Bull Range of Georgia, North Georgia. He becomes the sheriff, and they start running like moonshine, cooking meth, pot, and then the Bureau of Alcohol and Firearms comes in, and then there's
the ATF.
Right.
Or is it them? I don't know.
Like trade or something. Yeah. And I believe it's going to get very political because the brother is somehow like in law enforcement as well.
Okay.
But he's not corrupt like Billy is. So we'll see how it goes. It's an interesting read.
Cool.
So far. So
if you're going to Savers and you see a bunch of random books, are you looking up on your phone for reviews before, or are you just grabbing a book?
I'm just grabbing and going.
And saying like, hey, let's see how this goes.
Like I'm always like, let's give it 40 pages.
Yeah.
Now if the font's really small, I may be like, all right, let's give it 20.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not gonna like squint at the book for an hour to feel like I don't like it.
And then do you bring it back to Savers if you don't like it?
Yeah. So I'm moving out here in a week, and I have a whole box of books that have the Savers barcode on them.
Yeah.
That I'm just gonna take right back.
Awesome.
So
Easy.
Hopefully they can repurpose the barcode.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's cool.
And I didn't highlight them. I didn't write in them. So
that's
awesome. The
awesome.
price should stay the same.
Yeah.
So
very cool.
Yeah, it's like
it's like a library.
Yeah, it's like as a library that gives back.
Yeah, you check them out, check them back in. And this question, the answer is yes. But any travel plans coming up?
Yeah, I'm just doing a quick little move across the country from northeast New England to southwest California. So
Sweet.
Just a quick 3,100 miles in the car.
You driving?
Yeah, I'll drive.
Nice.
So I'll go to Michigan, see some fam, where I'm originally from. Shoot to Chicago, see some friends. I'm going to stop in DeBeck, Iowa, see another friend. And then I'll shoot out to Denver. And then from Denver to Pasadena, California.
Sweet. Awesome. Excited for California. Have you been there before?
I've been there once on like a sightseeing kind of thing. Mom and Dad took me. I sound ungrateful, but I'm not ungrateful. Very grateful for that vacation. I think we hopped in the car in San Diego and we drove all the way up to San Francisco and
cool.
did the whole correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's the A1A or.
It sounds right.
Some boulevard that runs. So we drove that all the way up and stopped along the way, and I think made it a 4 or 5 day trip.
Sweet.
So.
You gonna do some surfing out there?
Yeah, I'm not super close. I got to drive through LA to get to the water.
Gotcha.
But I'll definitely do some rock climbing.
Oh, sweet.
And some, rock climbing, and just Joshua trees right there. So
nice. I heard it's really, really nice spot.
Yeah. So I'm excited. River's excited.
Nice.
So it should be a good time. I'm looking forward to it.
Hell yeah. Can you talk about what you're doing out there?
Yeah. So I accepted a job at NASA.
That's so cool.
At the Jet Propulsion Lab. So it is a contractor for NASA that works alongside and with California Institute of Technology. NASA has delegated JPL to be the Mars team. So I'll be on the Mars Perseverance rover.
That's so cool.
So that'll be my role. I'll be group supervisor for material handling and logistics for the laboratory and for that campus. So it should be good. I'm a little nervous, but good nerves. You know what I mean? No bad nerves.
Yeah. That's huge.
Yeah. It was neat. They sent me the welcome package, and it was like every night I get an email saying what asteroids are going to pass Earth today, how big they are, how fast they're going by, and I was like, this is completely different than what I was doing beforehand, but it's good. You know what I mean? It's different. I think I'm going to be around very, very smart, intelligent people.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, which is good. So,
but you're not going to space.
No. So the thing is, in my interview, I was like, "Am I going?" They're like, "How tall are you?" I was like, "Well, you're a little too tall, and we don't bring dogs." And I was like, "Well, then I'm definitely out then."
I'm out.
I was like, "If River's not going, I'm not going."
Fair enough.
So that was a bummer. But my mom was happy I'm not going to space.
Yeah, could be a little dangerous, I guess.
Right?
Yeah.
So, if Jeff Bezos can do it, I feel like I can do it.
Right. I mean, and we don't have to talk about this either, but can you tell the people like where you're coming from, the job you're coming from?
Yeah. So I'm leaving Rolls-Royce,
which just sounds dope.
Right. It's not the car company. I'll actually be happy that I don't have to explain that it's not the car company anymore.
Nice.
So I was in aerospace, so that's where my background kind of came from, kind of slid into NASA with that background. But what I was doing in Providence, Walpole, Massachusetts, I was working on submarines
nice.
and propellers for submarines.
Very cool.
So it was definitely a different transition than I expected, aerospace to naval. But happy to be back in space again, so to speak.
I'm sure like there must be some carryover.
Yeah, it's the government. You know what I mean? It's slow,
yeah, sure.
Outdated. As I say that, as I'm gonna go be a federal employee, but they're slow.
I mean,
and
I think they know where their weaknesses are.
You're right.
You know
what I mean? They're like, that's the first.
It's
thing
kind of the common stereotype.
Right. Yeah, we're slow.
But hey, now you're here to fix it. we'll spin it that way.
Or just manage the slowness, which is not bad. I'll manage.
Yeah.
I'll manage slowness any day of the week.
Fair. All right, we'll transition back to some of the other things you've done, and then won't keep you too much longer. But unless you want to, then we'll keep going.
Yeah, this is good.
But I guess let's kind of pick up where we left off on the hunting a little bit, because I do want to kind of dive into that. So I know you said elk hunting. What else have you hunted for?
Elk and mule deer have been primarily the big game I've gone after, and then locally. In Rhode Island, I hunted just whitetail.
Cool.
I haven't hunted small game out here. In Florida, I was a big fisherman. Fished, I would say probably 6-7 days a week.
Wow.
Yeah, so definitely took advantage of that. I hunted hogs in Florida, which is a crazy something I don't ever want to do ever again.
Really?
Yeah, we actually got into pythons as well.
What?
So we did that. So those were the only two things I hunted down
in
there.
Florida.
In Florida. And I'll say harvested.
How do you harvest the python?
Well, so they're actually
don't just kidding.
Here I am, like going into it, like I got excited, like not even. They're actually a nuisance species, so there's a 365 season on them.
I can see that.
So and the state of Florida pays you for them. So it's kind of funny, these farms out there, when it's not dark enough to go hunt hogs, you go hop on the airboat and you go find some pythons, and you just jump on them.
What do you mean you jump on them?
Like you find them and you jump on them. Then you have a crew around you, so if it starts to wrap you, they'll just like take the head.
Will they bite you?
They will, but they don't have fangs. So it's just like a bunch of like, I would even say it's almost like acupuncture, like acupuncture via python. But I mean, you're never really going for the 13, 15 feet ones.
Okay.
But the state of Florida still pays a good amount of money for the small ones.
And so what do you have to do? Like bring the head to this?
You bring the body.
Okay.
And then you turn it over to Fish and Wildlife, and then they'll process it. Some say they process it and then take the skin and sell the skin to the black market, but that's a weird conspiracy theory that I don't believe in. But no, it's different.
So it's not edible meat or anything.
They're just. I mean, they eat. They eat clean. They eat hogs. They eat what we would eat. They eat baby fawns. They eat hogs.
Yeah.
Why they're a nuisance? They eat dogs. You know what I mean? They eat all that kind of stuff. So it's not like they're eating garbage.
Well, I mean, like humans don't really eat python. I mean, I've never heard of it, so I'm not surprised.
I mean, I'm sure if you go I was like 40 miles inland. I'm sure if you go 80 miles inland in Florida, like dead smack in the middle, I'm sure
there'd be some python barbecues.
Yeah, Whatever they can. I mean, yeah, I'm not gonna. Yeah.
So it's more of like a pest control thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha. And I mean, I hate snakes, so I'm all for that.
Right.
That's good.
I mean, I don't think. I mean, there's some people that have pet snakes. I will not be one of them.
No.
Ever.
I had a pet gecko for a while, for like 2 years, and I was moving out of my house and a relationship, and I'm like, I don't want to take care of this thing anymore.
Who
And
kept it?
I was able to bring it back to Petco and took it back. And I'm like, never again will I get a lizard or a snake or. Well, it was cool for the first like 2 weeks, and I'm like, man,
that's just annoying.
It's just annoying. Yeah.
Did you have a bond with it?
No.
No.
It was just a reptile in my house.
Did you take it out of the cage ever?
Yeah.
And nothing.
It would just like sit on me and then try to get away.
It didn't like look at you longingly, and you're like, you know what, I like this thing.
It's like a fish,
right?
But it takes a lot more work. Like a fish, you just feed it once in a while, clean the tank every once in a while. This it's like you have to clean it more often, you have to feed it more often. You have to give it little crickets, which is kind of cool at first, but then you're like, God, I gotta go back to Petco, get some more crickets. Like I can't just order these. Well, maybe you could now, but yeah. For me, not a pet for me.
Okay, that's, yeah. Not a pet for me either. So
Yeah.
we can mutually agree on that.
Yeah.
But
all right, so hunting elk, deer, fish, hogs, pythons.
Right, ducks, geese, pheasant.
Hell yeah.
There's some. I'm not going to self-incriminate myself, but there's probably some things on the
a good call
endangered list that I've taken a couple of shots at.
Maybe the old podcast you would, but
I'm not committed a felony by shooting any endangered animals. I'll just preface that.
That's good. And I guess that kind of transitions us to hiking, camping, because I know you're a big outdoorsman.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just like as much as I can spend outdoors. I got into rock climbing probably 2 years ago, and
like some free solo stuff, or
no, I promised my mother
you'd never do that.
I would never do free solo
because
I'd die. I mean, it's like that would be suicide. Like
it
with
would
my
be.
climbing abilities.
Yeah,
and I would just like get up like 40, and the worst part is I get up 40 feet, fall, and break my back, and then just be a vegetable.
Yeah,
I couldn't even get high enough to kill myself.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
So
watching those documentaries, like I know they're on TV, but even just looking in those guys' eyes, I'm like, these guys got some screws loose.
No, and so that's what like Alex Honnold will say. He's like, yeah, I'm not normal.
Yeah.
Like I'm like I have a form of Asperger's. I have that. Like I am aware of it. Like because what I do is not normal to the human brain.
Totally.
I'm missing like something's not firing that allows me to stay calm, climbing. You know what I mean? 22 pitches out of 25.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All the way up 2,200 feet in the air.
Yeah.
It's just like. It's cool.
Yeah.
I think it's
scary.
It's scary, but I think I don't know if it's the wrong thing to do is to publicize it that much.
Sure.
I mean, it's like because you have people now trying to do it, and like
right.
free solo deaths have been going up. Because,
for sure.
Because people think they can do it because they saw some guy on Netflix do it.
It's kind of similar to those guys who do like the parkour on like skyscrapers.
Right.
It's like. Yeah, they're gonna publicize it because they're getting views.
Right, they're tower climbs, and it's like it's not hard climbing.
Right.
You know what I mean? You like these guys they could do that climb for another 4,000 feet.
Yeah.
But what is scary is like, what happens if there's a gust of wind?
Yeah, it's high risk.
High risk, no reward, because the reward is, I mean, yes, you're getting publicized, but you're going straight to jail.
Yeah.
Like they're waiting for you up at the top. And you're going to jail.
Yeah. That's your best case scenario.
That's the best case. Worst case scenario is you die and everybody laughs at you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? How do you mourn a guy that climbed to the 90th story of a building and fell off?
Right.
You can't really mourn that.
That's interesting because I feel like free solo, at least from what I've seen, has really only gotten positive reviews from like the media and stuff like that. But I guess I haven't really asked someone like in the climbing world about what they think about like the
and like anybody will ask you, it's dumb.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the motto is like climb another day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you're rock climbing and you don't feel comfortable, get down. You know what I mean?
Get down.
Because if you fall, like you could hurt somebody on the ground. You could hurt yourself.
Yeah.
Or you're gonna damage equipment. Now equipment's not super expensive, but like there's no point in not feeling comfortable and having one of those scenarios happen when you could get down, calm down, and go back at it tomorrow.
Sure. And if you're in a position where maybe you're like I'm just thinking like Mount Washington, 'cause that's what I've climbed before. But like, if you're in a situation where you have to get rescuers involved, you're putting them in danger.
Exactly. And the thing is, rocks don't change.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
the rock face that was there 40 years ago will be there in 40 years from now.
Yeah.
Like, unless someone comes and develops it. But a lot of this public land is now protected.
Sure.
So these rock faces aren't changing.
Yeah.
So if you don't feel comfortable and it's above your grade being like skill level, go home, get better, and come back out.
Go home and get better.
Right. There's no point in trying to hurt yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the same thing like in CrossFit. It's like if you know you can't snatch your body weight, don't walk up to the bar and try and snatch your body weight.
There's no point.
There's no point.
You won't be able to do it, and you're going to get hurt, too.
Exactly. So the risk reward is there's all risk, no reward.
You haven't even earned the right to try that weight.
No. And that's what climbing, yes, you haven't earned the right, but what's different about, like, if you're making that analogy, or I made that analogy to weightlifting, it's like 185 is always going to be 185.
Yeah, the weight doesn't change.
The grades, though, are like, if it's an easy grade, it'll be easy all the way through. If it's a hard grade, it might be easy 2/3 and then hard at the top.
Gotcha.
So it's called a crux, and that's the hardest point of the climb. So, like, to your point of, you can't do it, you'll never be able to you'll never be able to do it, but like you might need to practice at it. The hard climb is like you might get to 2/3 of it, the easy part, and then what makes it a hard climb, the crux, you can attempt it, but let's not like spend all day up there. So I mean, it's a quite interesting sport. I don't like it in the Olympics.
It's the Olympics?
Yeah, it's in the Olympics. It was just in the Olympics.
Bouldering or?
Bouldering, lead climbing, and speed climbing.
Wow.
So there's 3 events. I thought they did a poor job. I think even the rock climbing community kind of came out.
Really?
They didn't even have the top rock climbers in the world really representing them because the way it was qualifying was weird. But, I mean, it was the first time in the Olympics, so it's like they're going to work out some bugs. But, yeah, the community.
Yeah, there's some things where it's like, I mean, I don't know enough about it, but to me, from outside looking in, like, it doesn't seem like it should be like a competitive sport. It's more of just kind of like a solo like endeavor. Right,
and that I think physically, like when you get to the top grades, yes, it's physically. You know what I mean? You have your certain handholds, you have your footwork, you have your core technique, you have it all. But I think what they're doing when they make it a sport is they're kind of prioritizing like the rapid growth of it. And I'm not saying one that like people shouldn't be out climbing, but you need to take the right steps.
Yes, you got to do it the proper way.
Right, and so it's like people see it and be like, oh, I can do that. You know what I mean? It's you can go by a harness, you can go by a rope, and there's no one else out there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? At least when you go to a pool, there's a lifeguard.
Yeah.
If you go rock climbing and you hook yourself into a harness and you tie a bad knot and you climb up and you fall and that knot slips,
you're done.
You're done. You know what I mean? There's no safety course on it. There's nothing on it. And there's no help.
Yeah.
Because all these rocks are so far removed that if you need help, it's a helicopter ride away.
Yeah.
Which is scary. And it's also scary if you do need help, you're not probably walking out of there.
Yeah.
So the person you're with has to pick you up and climb you out of the crevice you're in, the draw you're in, and which is also makes for a difficult rescue.
Right. Sketchy.
It is.
All right, we'll hit just a couple of the topics. So let's move on to. So you've done some surfing. Did you end up surfing Rhode Island at all?
No, so I did not. I went on Facebook Marketplace. I found a board. The guy backed out, and I was like, it's like I'm 30 minutes away. Like there's not really a great place for me to do it where I could make that investment. Got some in Florida, but the Gulf is obviously very calm compared to the Atlantic. But it was kind of funny. Hurricane Elsa came through, and that's when the best surfing was.
Yeah.
So I had all my aunts and uncles. My mom was like, "Oh my God, like be safe. Like, it's coming right over you." And like I sent her a picture like on the beach. And we're like, "Hey, we're hanging out surfing right now. It's good." But no, and I wouldn't even say I'm like that good at it. I mean, the swells are nothing down there. It was more of just a social thing, something to do. Because if the waves were that big, the boat we had, you weren't really getting out to fish. So it was just something to do.
Yeah.
When you weren't fishing.
It's gonna be good this week if you're around.
See, I do not like wetsuits.
You don't need one this week.
Oh, you don't?
The water's warm enough.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then not. Yeah.
Wednesday morning, Friday morning, it's gonna be good.
Oh, today, tomorrow, or a week from.
Is today Wednesday?
Today's Tuesday.
Yeah, tomorrow morning.
Okay.
And Friday morning.
All right.
We'll talk.
Yeah. I'll text
Because
you.
I have 3 boards.
All right. Then let's go. Yeah. Why not?
And then some of the other stuff. The reason I know this is because when you came to see me for your back injury, so you done some CrossFit.
Right.
Were you doing CrossFit in Florida too at all?
No. So I came up here and joined CrossFit. I was just kind of like searching for something to do.
Yeah.
Like, I knew triathlons. The training was out of the picture just because of like I said before, like my sales were deflated. I couldn't focus on fishing. I really didn't have an outlet for my stress.
Yeah.
And going to my apartment gym was like just
Awful.
nails on the chalkboard.
Oh,
It was not fun. I felt almost like embarrassed to be there.
really?
'Cause the window, it was like a fishbowl. And like in downtown Providence, I mean, there's 2 bars. So people are going back and forth between bars. It's like.
And they can just see you
They
working
can,
out?
yeah, they can just see me working out. So I was like, I'm not super self-conscious, but I don't need like random people.
People just drunk watching you work out.
Right.
That sounds awful.
No, it was brutal. I was like, it was not fun. So I was like, all my
They
friends.
need some curtains or like a one-way mirror.
Right. And all my buddies do CrossFit. And I always kind of gave them shit
Yeah.
for doing CrossFit. I never like said it to their face, but I was like, oh, like you guys are cult, blah, 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 whatever.
Yeah.
So I joined CrossFit. And I was like, oh, yeah, I'm just working out. Like, I got class today, but I'm working out.
Yeah.
And my buddy, like, a month later goes, dude, are you doing CrossFit? And I was like, dude, what makes you say that? Like, I was, like, embarrassed of it.
Yeah, yeah.
And he goes, because it's like you follow CrossFit Providence and you say you have class. And I was like, all right.
You wouldn't admit to him.
I wouldn't admit to it. And I was like, yeah, I do it. I love it, too.
And then I love it, yeah.
I love
I'm
it.
in. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid.
Right. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. It feels good. Funny enough, that buddy is now doing it in Florida doing CrossFit as well.
Oh, yeah.
So he just joined. He's loving it. He's still at the stage where he's checking the workouts the night before. And if they say deadlifts or thrusters, he's not going to that workout.
Really?
Yeah. So I was like, dude, just put your phone down. You don't check.
I never check.
And just show up. And if it's a movement you don't want to do it light or just reprogram.
Just move or repro. Yeah, modify.
So it's funny and it's good. So I did CrossFit. I started in October, and then I actually had to take a 2-month break, and that's when I came to see you. So that was also deflating. I was driving to work and got rear-ended. Had my seatbelt on, thankfully. Got rear-ended on the highway. Got out. Looked like there was no damage. He shook the guy's hand and said, hey, let's just keep going to work.
Yeah.
Felt fine for 2 days. Went to CrossFit. Did a sandbag. It was sandbag carry, so it was really hingy. And my back just went to the point where I was like using a golf club as a cane for like the first 3 days because I was like I couldn't stand up.
Yeah.
And then that's when I like reached out to Tanner, and Tanner was like, yeah, you got to go see Dr. Matt. Like he's gonna save you. And you did. You saved me. And to the point where it's like, I was like, I feel good. I'm ready to go back. And you're like, no, 2 more weeks. And like to the point where I got my strength back up. So if I did, and I think that's, your body can handle a clean in the right motion.
Yeah.
But it's those motions that if you miss a clean, those weird catches, if your body's not
when you're out of position,
right, flexible, or you're not strong enough, you're gonna hurt yourself.
Yeah.
And so that's what I know you did. You prepared me for those moments. And then, funny enough, I went home in December, and I got X-rays of my back. My chiropractor that I owe this man my life. He took X-rays, and he's like, you cracked your hip.
Yeah.
So that's where the pain, like your back was out. The hinging was gone. That makes sense. But the pain you were feeling was stemming from your hip. So I had a little hairline fracture. And thankfully he said like you couldn't do surgery, you couldn't put yourself in a cast. The only thing to do was rest.
Yeah.
And And it was funny enough. I told him, I was like, hey, like, yeah, I wanted to go back at 4 weeks. We reevaluated at 6, and then he said, Dr. Matt said no. You said no, and then it went to 8, and he goes, yeah, that's like what an orthopedic will say: take 8 weeks off, and then
for a fracture,
for this little hairline fracture,
and
then just baby your way back in, and that's what I did. And so, like, without going to see an orthopedic, I followed the textbook.
Yeah,
thanks to you.
You're good to go.
So
yeah, well, I appreciate it.
It was a lifesaver, and I truly believe that, like, you got to keep moving.
It's huge.
So even, like, to be completely honest, I was dreading those sessions with you because it was a lot of work. Like, I was going to break a sweat. Yeah. Doing very simple movements, and it wasn't the physical I was scared of. It was the mental. That I was going to have to go and be weak in front of somebody else. You know what I mean? And that's what's tough.
It is. You have to just put your ego to the side and be like, all right, I got to see what I can do today.
And that's what you told me. You're like, you can't ego lift anymore.
Like, exactly.
Like, you're 26, but you're fragile. You can't ego lift.
Yeah.
Like, you can't, like, look around and be like, okay.
Put the blinders on.
Right. Someone's lifting 185. I need to be at 185. No. Be 135 and be proud of your 135.
Yeah.
Because at 135, you're going to become stronger at 135 when you do it smooth and clean.
Yes.
Than trying to mess around with 185 and you can hurt yourself.
Yeah.
So between really...
You got to do what's in your capacity.
Right. Consistently moving. And the biggest thing of, like, put your blinders on. You know what I mean? And that's what was hard for me is with triathlons, it's race your own race.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I never carried that mindset over to lifting until you brought it in. Until you just said, hey, idiot, it's not. It's not about 225. It's not like. Yeah. Like, those are great weights, but, like, I'm not on a team. Yeah. Like. I'm not.
It's just you.
Right. I'm not on the Bruins.
Right.
I'm not on a baseball team. I'm not even on a bowling team.
Right.
So it's like, just lift to lift.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if it's my mental escape. So it's like, why hurt yourself doing what you love to do?
Back to rock climbing, lift so you can lift the next day.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
Exactly. It's like I set those barriers up of race your own race, climb for tomorrow. Yeah. I just never carried it over to the gym until you told me, like, who gives a shit if someone can do this and you can't? Like, you'll get there one day.
Yeah, everyone's at different levels, different experiences.
And that's what I think you showed me. You sent it to me on Instagram. You DM'd me. It's a guy who climbs a ladder one rung at a time. And it was not a meme, but it was an analogy.
Cartoon.
Like, right, yeah. As like, climb the ladder one rung at a time, whereas you could skip 3, be 2 ahead, and then the next one you miss, and you fall all the way back to the ground. So climb that ladder one rung at a time, and you're going to get to the top.
100%.
You're gonna find your goal.
I think you've said all this better than I said it to you.
There's no way. There's no way. But I appreciate the compliment. Yeah. But
no, that means you learned it well and it stuck, which is awesome. I love to hear that.
No, it's I still get the don't forget to do your 3 exercises today. And
no way, on the app?
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah.
I get them and, like, hey, do your 3 exercises. And I'm like, I don't want to do those 3 exercises. They're annoying. And I've been doing them for like a year now. But
Let's go. So they will expire after a year, so it's probably coming up to that.
All right, well, I'll text you and be like, I don't know what it takes to get another year of these stupid reminders.
I just have to change the date.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll put the date for the next 10 years if you want.
I appreciate that. Yeah.
But you just have for a year.
Yeah, Dr. Matt's retired, but Clifford's still getting his.
Notifications. All right, so let's start to wrap up. We have 2 wrap-up questions here. Actually 3. So the third to last one, or the first of the third, maybe would be a better way to say it. What is one thing that most people think is true that you believe most people are actually mistaken? Or I guess what's one common misconception? This could be like fitness, life, sport, CrossFit, hunting.
I looked at this today and I struggled. I struggled hard.
Yeah. I think you already said one. I can just repeat it for you.
All right. What?
The whole thing with hunting.
Yeah.
Hunting versus harvesting. One common misconception, people think it's more of a sport, but when some people think it is, but you're doing it more for the preservation of
right. And I even carried that mindset over to fishing. Not even I wouldn't even target species that were catch and release.
Sure.
Because that whole process of catch and release is, you're taking something out of its natural body.
Yeah.
And you will damage it.
Sure. Sure.
And the mindset of it will heal.
Right.
But my thing is like, yeah, if you're gonna harvest something, do it for the meat.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think for me, food is has always represented family.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always interesting when you say, hey, I have elk or I have venison.
Yeah.
Like, people come out of the woodworks.
Yeah.
And we're like, I want to try that.
Yeah.
Or like, it's a great segue into like, let's have a family dinner.
Yeah.
Or, you know what I mean? Let's have a fish fry. That was huge in Florida. We'd have a fish fry every Sunday night.
No way.
Yeah. And it was literally just fish, and then people would bring over sides.
Yeah. Yeah.
Coleslaw, collard greens, and like a mango chutney.
That's awesome.
We had a mango tree in our backyard.
No way.
Yeah. So it's mango season right now. So my buddy's sending me like mangoes were so abundant that you were like, I don't want another one. And people would just pull them out of their trunk and hand them to you. You're like, I already have like 400 of them.
That's how it is with tomatoes right now and over the next month.
Here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to have so many because we have a bunch of tomatoes. I'm going to have so many. We're going to have to start giving them away.
Right. And so everyone's like you got to pick them because if they stay on the tree any longer,
they'll fall on the ground.
They're overripe, or
Mm-hmm.
they'll fall on the ground. They bruise.
Yeah.
And they're good. So you got to pick them every day,
Mm-hmm.
or they'll spoil.
Mm-hmm.
So between mangoes and then the fish fries, we'd save all the fish up like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then do a big fish fry, crawfish boil, blue crab boil.
That's awesome.
So yeah, like I said, food brings family together. So it's like if you can harvest an animal, whether it's a fish or it's a game species, pheasant, quail, mule deer, whatever it may be, people will come out of the woodwork to eat that stuff.
That's cool. I like that. Great answer. I helped you. I gave you an assist on that one.
That was good. I was like, I was thinking that, and then I was like thinking like, I wrote. What did I write down? I wrote, I don't even know what I wrote down. Oh, caffeine dehydrates you. Like a cup of coffee dehydrates you.
And that's a misconception.
And that's a misconception.
Yeah.
Because people, the trace amounts of caffeine don't outweigh the water you're drinking.
Yeah. I read a research study on this a while ago, and things could have changed since then. But if you're not a caffeine drinker, like a habitual caffeine drinker,
right,
and you have a cup of coffee, yes, it will dehydrate you.
Okay.
But if you're someone who drinks coffee every day, even if it's 1 cup a day, it's not going to dehydrate you because your body's already adapted to that.
That seems like a pretty cool study.
Yeah.
That actually sounds like a really cool
Yeah,
study.
it's out there. There's a research study on that.
Did it speak to like the milligrams? Like, was it 100?
Not from what I remember. It could have. It could have spoke to the milligrams. I'm not sure. I'm sure, with any study like that, I'm sure they dial they make everything as
they have
specific
a
as
ratio.
Yeah, they have a whole
if you're having a
protocol.
3-ounce, 200 milligram espresso shot,
yeah,
you're gonna get dehydrated.
Sure. Yeah, that might be. Yeah, that might be a good point.
If you're having a 12-ounce, 100 milligram cup of coffee,
right,
you'll be good to go.
Right. That's a good point. So we'll move on to our second to last question, or I'll switch the orders here. If you have a favorite quote, mantra, or saying, so the way I describe this is the way Tim Ferriss does his podcast. You get on 95,
right?
Route 95, Rob Levine's billboard. The car accident lawyer.
Yeah.
You get his billboard for a day.
Mm-hmm.
You can put whatever you want on it to just show to the people of Rhode Island.
It's helped me out, and I know it's helped my friends out, and I know it's helped a lot. But a sober mind heals all.
Ooh.
So I think people prioritize physical health, and like if you hurt something, like I hurt my back, I took time off my back.
Yeah.
If your mind's hurt, you gotta stop hurting it even more.
Sure.
And you gotta sober up.
Sure.
Just not to get too in depth, but I wasn't mentally sound for probably the last maybe 180 days. I got sober, and not that anything physical changed. It just eliminated that mental crutch.
Sure.
That alcohol was that I was giving myself with alcohol.
Right.
So I've been sober. I've removed that mental crutch, and I've just been able to kind of process emotions better.
Awesome.
So yeah, I truly believe, and there's just a lot of obviously studies on drinking and anxiety and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But, I don't know who said it, but I really stick to it. A sober mind does heal all.
That's true.
It might not fix the root cause, but it will allow you to think and to develop a strategy to fix the root cause.
Right.
Instead of just delaying the problems by covering them up.
I could totally see that, people just using it as a Band-Aid,
Yeah.
you know, to try to fix things that are going on psychologically. When
Right. It's like you're never going to process those emotions if you
Yeah.
just keep covering them up. So
Yeah.
it's like I needed to process emotions.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way I was going to do that was to be sober and allow that natural progression of my brain to do so.
Cool.
So,
I
yeah,
like that.
I truly believe that. It's whether it's 30 days, 40 days, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
365. I got a buddy who quit for like 3 weeks, and he's been like 3 years sober.
Wow.
So, and he's crushing it at life. So,
Hell yeah.
I'm not saying it's a direct correlation, but it just allows your brain to work without a crutch and maybe sometimes not as foggy.
Definitely. I like that. And physically too, it's empty calories. So.
Right. And it's a diuretic. Like I can't.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You're just
You can't win.
flushing your system out.
You can't win. If you're gonna train for the Ironman, you can't be having
No.
any booze.
No, nothing.
Last question, or last, I guess, statement. Anything or anyone you want to plug or shout out as we finish?
It's kind of funny. I've always been Sean Ray. He was a bodybuilder.
Okay.
Did competitions, and to this day they say he has the best front double bi.
Okay.
And that's my favorite movement. Now my biceps aren't that big, but after any competition, whether it was high school, clutching up in a video game, as nerdy as that sounds, like I do something like cool at work, which sounds even worse.
Yeah.
But like, you know what I mean? Like if I just do something, I'll always just like
double bi.
Right. Front double bi and just like love it. And like
that's awesome.
My friends know me for it. And even like I said, I don't even have big biceps.
Yeah.
It's just something I do. It's like,
let's go.
Right. At the corner of a bar, you just see like your body, like, and it does help to be like a taller individual. My friends are tall, but like I'll see a buddy like across the bar and I'll just throw up front double bi and he'll just mimic me right back.
It's a vibe.
Right. And then everyone's like, this guy's a douchebag. And I'm like, yeah, but you don't get the meaning behind what we're doing. So Sean Ray,
Nice.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Cool.
He's strong too.
Yeah.
Super strong. Old. He's old. He's older guy. He's probably not that strong anymore.
I'll have to look him up.
Yeah, he is. That's a great front double bi.
Top
3.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. Oh yeah. Cool. Well, Cliff, I'm so glad I got you on before you left.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
I'm glad we made this work. This was fun.
No, it was good. It was great conversation.
Great convo. Great podcast.
Yeah, great podcast.
Good stuff. You're kind of a professional at this. You're kind of a veteran.
I don't know about
so.
professional, but give it a listen, like, comment, share, repost it. You know what I mean? If you got to do what you got to do, you don't go buy a couple likes.
I might snip that segment and just use that on the end of every one of my podcasts.
Right. Yeah.
Awesome. Hey, good stuff, man.
Appreciate
cool.
it. Thank you.
Signing off.